Welcome to the Mukilteo Football Show. My name is Miles.
And I'm Kirk.
And Obi-Wan Kenobi literally surrounded by carcass of stuffed animals.
Beautiful.
He's got his
Beautiful
chicken,
sight.
2 ducks, on top a giraffe, just setting the scene for you.
And he's just mowing down on all of them.
Just
He couldn't decide which entree he wanted, so he took them all.
took them all. That's the American way.
As it should be.
Welcome to the AFC Divisional Playoff Preview. We're going to talk Jacksonville at Kansas City. We're going to talk Cincinnati at Buffalo. Kirk, how you doing?
I'm doing great. It's good. Super Wild Card weekend's over. We're on to the divisional round, which is usually the best round of football that you're going to get. Best games are usually divisional round.
I agree. This is my favorite football weekend.
Yeah.
8 of the best teams, 4 total games.
Yep.
I love it. Well, let's get right into it. Oh, God.
But let's not get right into it.
Let's start with an opening salve, as it were. A opening question, just a little bit of more. So look back into the Super Wild Card weekend. Kirk, what was your favorite wild card game?
I was close. I liked the Giants-Vikings game, but to me it was Bengals-Ravens. It was a good game. I thought the Ravens played their asses off. Good divisional battle. Ravens defense looked good. I thought they were better than the Bengals.
I do too.
I think they should have won the game. I mean, I didn't want them to win the game. I'm glad they didn't, but they would have got smoked this round. But that was the most interesting game to me. The expectation wasn't there, but once it started playing, I was like, we got a ball game. Like, I don't know. I don't think the Bengals are going to win this, and it didn't really happen until that goal line play where Huntley fumbles it and goes right into Hubbard's hands and. Big defensive lineman. Gotta love a big defensive lineman scoring.
Go, go, go.
Beautiful.
You know what they're calling that play on the internet?
No.
The fumble in the jungle.
Ooh, I like that. I like that.
Too. I agree with you, though. The Bengals should have lost. I mean, that was a 14-point swing.
Yeah. That was Ravens knocking on the door. Burrow I don't think he did anything in the second half.
He really didn't.
I mean,
no first downs in the fourth quarter.
Yeah.
They had a touchdown drive in the third quarter, but no first downs in the fourth quarter.
Yeah, I think it was like right off the bat. They got the ball and they scored a touchdown, and then pretty much nothing from there, and got bailed out by their defense.
We had a good day on Sunday. That was a lot of great games. The Bills' victory over the Dolphins I was most unexpectedly invested in that. It was stressful for me. I just didn't want Skylar Thompson in the divisional round, so I was really rooting for the Bills and just not having a great time. But my favorite game. Oh, go ahead.
No, that was a good game, but it was one I didn't want to be close. I wanted it to be a blowout, so it was more frustrating than it was joyful.
And I was so worried that should the third string Dolphins knock off the Buffalo Bills in the wild card game, think of how retroactively tragic that makes how the Bills season ended last year.
Oh yeah,
the 13 seconds game. I've contended this all season long. It's not quite tragic yet because the Bills are still Super Bowl contenders, but once they lose, if they lose in this playoff, last year's end is going to become more tragic.
Yeah.
But my favorite was the Giants-Vikings game. I mean, just huge drives. Daniel Jones suddenly looking like an elite pocket passer. It was high scoring, back and forth. It wasn't a big comeback like Jaguars-Chargers, which is fun. Yeah. But this was back and forth, and that's more. I like that more. And I actually like the announcers. Greg Olson and Kevin Burkhardt.
They did well.
Actually did well. And they're the Super Bowl announcers this year.
They're holding their own. Yeah.
Yeah. Well, let's get...
Jags and Chargers was a great game, too, but for very different reasons.
Oh, the Chargers. The most Chargers thing of all time.
How can you win the turnover differential by 5? 5-0 and lose the game. I mean, I can't remember the last time that's happened in a regular season or a postseason.
That's a great point. I should look up how often that has happened, just period.
It's incredible. I mean, pretty much every coach says you win the turnover battle, you're going to win the game.
Yep.
And they crushed the turnover battle and lost the game. So I don't know what to make of it.
Point to that game and show the variance.
Man.
I mean, it would have been nice if the Chargers could have got a point in the second half. Because if they just got 1 point, they would have won this game.
Just one field goal. Come on, guys.
Let's talk about those Jaguars. Their reward for coming back down 27-0 tomorrow against the Chargers is a trip to Kansas City to take on the rested Pat Mahomes Chiefs. Every Mukilteo football show for the preview, I like to do a little history, before the matchup. These teams have not faced each other.
Okay, that makes sense.
Same as Jaguars had never faced the Chargers in the playoffs. This is actually Jacksonville's 16th playoff game ever.
Wow.
So they haven't faced a lot of the AFC teams, especially since 5 out of the 15 playoff games in Jaguars history have been against the Patriots.
Ooh,
2 against Bledsoe, 3 against Brady. So they've been mostly cornered to New England.
Yeah, I guess so, yeah.
So this is the inaugural playoff matchup.
Oh, that's awesome. Yeah, it's about time.
And I'm guessing we're going to see a little more of this because we got Trevor Lawrence and Pat Mahomes for the whole decade here.
Yeah, Trevor Lawrence is looking legit. Doug Peterson's got him playing well. So, I mean, we just got to throw the Jaguars as the favorites for the AFC South from, here until somebody proves they can get another quarterback.
How Andrew Luck is this? it's so almost exactly Andrew Luck. It's the second year.
Yeah.
It's the AFC South, as you said. The rest of the AFC South sucks. So you got it locked up once you get a franchise quarterback. Even down to Luck in his second year had that crazy comeback in the wild card round against the Alex Smith Chiefs.
Yep.
Now
the Dwayne Bowe game.
The Dwayne Bowe game and the fumble game, or when Luck got Luck who fumbled
and then took that one awkward step and lunges in. Yeah, that plays a fun little highlight.
That's what you see that a lot on this cannot be copyrighted NFL any reproductions.
Yep.
Reproductions such as this, by the way.
Well, we're not copying it. We ain't showing you nothing.
We ain't showing you.
We can talk about it.
So the Jaguars, a third straight week on Saturday here.
Beautiful.
And Saturday night for Jaguars.
And history, Trevor Lawrence hasn't lost on a Saturday in like 5 years.
Right, because of Clemson.
Yeah.
And they only really lost the Monday championships.
Yep.
So Trevor Lawrence, is he going to lose on a Saturday this time?
Yeah, he might. Yeah, he might. But he just might be the Saturday king. So
he may be. I wish this was a Saturday night game. Yeah. Because then we could have a trilogy of Jaguars on Saturday night. We're kind of enjoying it. We watched the Jaguars take care of the Titans last week with the Chargers. It's Saturday night. You're watching the Jaguars. It's what you do now.
Yeah, that's just mandatory. I do like this Jacksonville team. I mean, I don't think they can take down the Chiefs, but they are rolling. They got weapons. I like Kirk. I like Zay Jones, Marvin Jones. ETN looks like he's a baller. I mean, they got the weapons.
You brought this up last time that the weapons are nice and even, too.
Yeah.
Like you just named all of them off, and they're all pretty much equally capable as long as Lawrence is getting them the ball. Yeah.
Who do you focus on as a defensive coordinator? I mean, really? I mean, you're focused on Lawrence, but you can't focus on a specific weapon.
And that's a huge advantage for Jacksonville because of the coaching.
Yeah.
Not just Lawrence, but Doug Peterson as well. So Jaguars, they're the better matchup here, though, than the Chargers, you would say. We were kind of talking about this earlier. Or did you want the Chargers in this game?
As the game was going on and as Jacksonville was coming back, I was like, screw the Chargers. I don't want to watch the Chargers lose to the Chiefs, the way that the Chiefs usually win in the postseason is fall behind by 10 and then blow the team out.
Yes.
So I figured that was going to happen to the Chargers regardless. As the second half was dwindling down, I was just like, let's just give Jacksonville this chance.
Yeah.
Let's go get it.
And I think every big comeback has two sides, right? They have the lead, and the comeback. And the Chargers gaining the lead was the flukier of the two.
Yeah.
The 5 turnovers. I mean, 2 of the interceptions one of them was pass interference that didn't get called.
That was bad.
The other was a double tip. Remember that one where he threw to the defensive lineman, got double tipped?
I think the first 2 were tipped, and it was not Lawrence's fault.
And then one of the turnovers was the punt, where the Jaguars punter kicked it, and it came directly onto the top of the helmet of one of the gunners. I've never seen that before.
I know.
It's just a needle in a haystack shot.
It's amazing that doesn't happen more often. Like, I always think somebody's just going to punt it short, and those guys will run into it. But I mean, I think that's the kick returner's fault for not screaming out whatever code word it is to just let it go.
Right.
That guy's supposed to be in charge of that play.
Well,
but now they learned, and they still won the game, even though that happened to them.
And the Jaguars, to me, showed something in the second half that was seriously special. Just the aggression that they lived with, all the weapons. I guess the defense as well, right? Because so in order to create a comeback, the other team has to not score 27 more points.
Oh yeah, and they did hold them to a couple field goals after those turnovers. They really shut down the Chargers' offense for most of the game, despite giving up all those points.
Yeah,
but the defense held. The defensive line's good.
It is good.
Don't rest. They'll sneak up on you, man.
I wrote down big Davon Hamlin. I was watching the game. I didn't appreciate him that much during the Titans game, but I needed a second Saturday night to really have the Hamlin that sink into me. The big old Davon Hamlin. He's amazing. He's what allows Josh Allen and Trayvon Walker, the wings.
Yeah.
I was thinking of like Kawhi and Paul George. They got these two wings.
Yeah.
The Jaguars, they're good up front.
Yeah.
And they're peaking right now. They haven't been good all year.
They can put pressure on Mahomes. I mean, Mahomes has been susceptible to, getting some pressure on him and having to throw the ball away a few times. It could happen.
Yeah.
And the reason I like Jacksonville in this game, and I like that they're a better matchup, they have nothing to lose. There are no expectations on Jacksonville. It's just how good do you do, and then we'll rate you next year. It even was like that going into the Chargers game. While they're making their comeback, they're just like, they got nothing to lose. Go out there and play ball. See if you can win. There's all the pressure's on the other team every single time.
Free money.
Yeah.
They're playing with house money now.
It's beautiful,
So I guess let's pivot to the Chiefs. Welcome to the 2022-23 playoffs, Kansas City Chiefs.
Yes, let's go.
Mahomes had 5,250 yards, 41 touchdowns. He's going to be the MVP.
Should be. Yeah.
He was elected first-team All-Pro quarterback, I think unanimously or almost unanimously.
Yeah.
That's the same people who vote the MVP, so it's in the bag.
He deserves the award.
So talk about all the pressure on Mahomes, like you said.
Oh, yeah.
This is kind of one of the last years where it's still, kind of his rookie contract, or, it's about to really, really explode.
Yeah.
And they're about to lose people trying to hold on to Mahomes, with that money that he's earned. He's already historic in the playoffs. Pat Mahomes has 28 playoff touchdowns. That's more than Steve Young.
Woo.
That's more than Troy Aikman.
Damn.
That's more than Jim Kelly.
Okay.
That's more than John Elway.
Wow.
That's more than Roger Staubach.
All right.
If he throws four more, he'll pass Bradshaw, he'll pass Warner, he'll pass Marino.
Jeez.
Already.
Was he going to be second on the list after that? I mean, Brady's untouchable.
Yeah, Brady's untouchable. Yeah, I think there's Peyton and maybe Favre up there. I'll have to look at what he'll be 8th on the list if he throws 4 more touchdowns.
Okay. Jeez. Yeah, climbing it quick because this is only his 5th time, 6th time in the playoffs here.
But he always makes a deep run, which of course now knock on wood here for Chiefs fans. Sorry everybody, but
another home game for him. Never played a road playoff game.
That's crazy.
Besides the Super Bowls, but it's unbelievable. He's the 1 seed again. He's going to be sitting there in Kansas City. He's very comfortable with this.
And I think he is very comfortable. And I think he's taken a step. It's not the Tyreek Hill, Travis Kelce offense. This is Mahomes 2.0. We've seen some growing pains. Now it's actually kind of like the Jaguars. They still have Kelce, but they also just have a bunch of just little weapons. There's Juju, there's MVS, there's Pacheco, there's McKinnon. By the way, heads up for Kadarius Toney and Sky Moore in this year's playoffs.
Oh, yeah. Be ready for those X factors.
It's going to be some weird crap.
Oh, yeah.
Andy Reid versus Doug Peterson. I'm getting more excited about this game as we talk about it.
I like this game. This is a good matchup. That's why it's better than the Chargers-Chiefs.
I agree.
It's just because they're both very kind of similar teams. Obviously, the Chiefs are more proven. Mm-hmm. Jags are kind of the ones that want to replicate the Chiefs. Mm-hmm. It's a great matchup. I mean, all the weapons that Kansas City has and all the talk before the season started about Tyreek Hill leaving and who's Mahomes going to throw to. And I'm like, well, now he gets to throw to everybody. This is a good thing.
It really is. And it stops the way that they were defending him. Yeah. Which was bracket Hill, bracket Kelce, and make Demarcus Robinson make a play.
Exactly.
And he couldn't.
Yeah. Yeah. And now it's like you bracket Kelce, but then all the other receivers get to do their little in-out routes, and you have to be ready for the scramble drill every single time. Mm-hmm. Now that the running backs are becoming, McKinnon's been a godsend in the passing game.
Yes.
I mean, that's what they wanted out of Edwards-Helaire, but they got it with McKinnon.
And I I'm rooting for that. First of all, Edwards-Helaire, fire him into the sun.
He's done.
There's some fantasy football hatred there. But McKinnon's a great story. I mean, he had that big contract in the free agency signed by the 49ers, got hurt in preseason. Yep. Everyone thought he was done. He came back. He wasn't ready. Here we are 4 years later, and he's primed for a run.
Yeah. And he's taken advantage of it. He's got the backfield and spelled by Pacheco, who's also awesome.
And I love that Pacheco wears number 10.
I know, right?
Just the insult to Tyreek Hill is just exquisite.
Your number ain't getting retired.
Fabulously done. It's like Irv Smith with the 84 Vikings.
Yep.
Every time he drops a ball, I'm to take that 84 off.
I know.
Take that purple 84 off.
But every time I see it, I'm just like, Moss. I'm like, it's Irv Smith. He's been gone for 20 years off the Vikings. Sorry.
The one unit we haven't talked about is Chiefs defense, and it's probably kind of the key unit. Maybe not in this game, maybe more in the playoff run as a whole. But if they solidify, this team's winning the Super Bowl, in my opinion.
Yeah, there's not much you can say about the Chiefs defense. They've played just decent enough in the season, but it really comes to postseason time when you have to evaluate this team. Obviously, you got Chris Jones in the middle. He's the game wrecker. But, I worry about the secondary. I worry about it. I haven't seen many teams be afraid of them. They're willing to take the shots.
Well, the nice thing about the Chiefs defense is they're kind of in the same position as all the Peyton Manning defenses.
Yeah.
They just need to make a couple red zone stops and they're good.
Yeah.
And Justin Reed is a safety there. The only good player to play for the Texans for the last 3 years somehow ended up on the Chiefs.
Of course.
I think he's going to be big. So, okay. We've diddled. We've daddled. Let's pick the game. Who's winning?
Oh, man. It's so hard for me to go against the Chiefs. So I'm just saying Mahomes figures it out. There's a will. There's a way.
Yeah.
Jacksonville can't dig themselves a hole like they did last time. And I don't know. I feel like they're going to kind of do that. They might get like 10 up, and then the Chiefs are just going to steamroll them. By the time this gets to the second half, I think Mahomes has clicked. And they're going to start putting up points.
Yeah, and I agree. I think the Jaguars run out of energy. I think, Mahomes would get a first down, unlike Herbert, in the second half.
Yep.
Favored by 8.5.
Ooh, that's larger than I thought. Yeah.
Do you think the Chiefs cover that?
Yeah, by the end, I think so. I think so. Yeah, I feel like there's just going to be a back-breaking play for the Jags. They're a resilient group.
Yeah.
But there's a play that's going to happen where it's like, we can't come back from this even if we play our best football.
Yeah, I agree. Chiefs cover. All right. Well, that wasn't fun. We agreed.
I know.
Let's go to the next game where maybe we'll disagree. I don't know yet. Cincinnati, the Kitty Cats go to the Buffalo Bills.
Boom.
Up in Buffalo. For some reason, not at a neutral site. No one has quite explained that to me.
Me neither.
Why the Bills Chiefs, if they play in the AFC title game, that's got all these rules. They'll play in Atlanta. This game, why isn't it a neutral site?
Because if the Bengals won, they'd be the 2 seed.
Yeah.
Right?
I think so.
They would have been the 2. The Chiefs still would have been the 1.
Oh, yeah, because they would have gotten
the tiebreaker.
They would have had one more win, or the same amount of wins, but the head-to-head tiebreaker.
Yep.
Yeah, so, I don't get it. Maybe we shouldn't figure it out live on air here.
I don't know, but I just feel like the Bengals didn't really care about it. Just at the time, they were kind of like, we'll do whatever you want. You're okay. It was more that the Chiefs and the Bills arguing it out, I think, which was weird.
It's probably squeaky wheel solutions there.
Yeah.
History of this matchup. Well, if you believe in parallels, you may want to look away, both Bills and Bengals fans.
Uh-oh.
The Bengals and Bills have played twice in the playoffs, 1981 and 1988.
Okay.
Both times the Bengals have won. And then both times the Bengals have went to a Super Bowl and lost to the 49ers.
Ooh.
Who, by the way, are still active in this year's playoffs. So if you believe in parallels, it's kind of all set in stone already.
Oh, man, Bengals, you do not like to hear that.
The funniest part, and we talked about this a bit in our Barn series, 1988, I believe it was the title game, maybe it was the divisional game, Buffalo versus Cincinnati. The Bengals and Boomer Esiason and Sam Weish came out with the no-huddle offense against the Bills. and Bills coach Marv Levy said it wasn't fair, said it wasn't in the spirit of the rules, it was cheating. And the next year, the Bills came back and they said, we're doing that too. Yep. They created the Jim Kelly K-Gun offense. Yep. They went to 4 Super Bowls in a row. No one even remembers that the Bengals did it first. The Bills got the ultimate revenge on that.
Oh, yeah.
Except for they didn't win a Super Bowl, but
they said, you're cheating, but we're going to do it better.
Exactly. If you ain't cheating, you ain't trying. Yeah. So that's the history for these two teams. Both of them struggled last week. Yeah, Bills to beat Dolphins, as we talked about, and Bengals honestly didn't deserve to beat the Ravens.
They didn't. And I felt like there was this kind of like, let's not really take the game as serious as possible. Like, let's rest some people. Let's not call our big...
For the Bengals?
For both teams.
Both teams.
I think both teams are just kind of like, yeah, let's play some normal, just don't show our cards yet. Right? We got more games to play. Let's not just throw all our chips on the table and let everybody see it on film. Let's hide some of it.
Right.
That's kind of what I felt like those games ended up being like.
That's a risky strategy.
Oh, it's super risky. It almost cost both of them.
I didn't like that both Burrow and Allen did this. So did the coaches. They're like, that's playoff football. Playoff football's ugly. It's tooth and nail. It's all close. Like, oh, no, it's not. The Chiefs just blew the hell out of the Steelers last year.
Oh, yeah.
The Eagles or the Buccaneers blew the Eagles out last year. People blow people out all the time in the playoffs. What are you talking about?
The Niners blew out the Hawks this year.
It's always like this. That's playoff football. Like, no, it's not. there's no more Skylar Thompsons. There's no more Tyler Huntley's in the playoffs.
Yeah.
It's a pretty great quarterback class, potentially excluding Daniel Jones, who actually had the best game of the weekend, so maybe you can't exclude him.
Maybe you can't, yeah.
It's nothing but good quarterbacks going forward. Who are you more worried about?
You know, I'm more worried about the Bills.
Okay.
I think I'm worried about the Bills because of the turnovers. And I think this narrative is starting to get out there. People are starting to catch on to it. And it's like, man, Josh Allen has been turning the ball over in the red zone. I mean, it's like he's forcing it so much. And it's like, dude, just play normal football and you'll be fine. Like, you don't have to make spectacular plays. This is kind of the problem Patrick Mahomes got into the last 2 or 3 seasons.
It really is.
Trying to make way too much happen. Just take the simple check down pass if it's there. Quit throwing a 15-yard jump ball to Gabe Davis.
Yeah.
You know, just take a nice simple play and pick up some chunk yards.
His impatience showed up so many times in that game against the Dolphins. Like, they went down or they were up 10 and then the Dolphins scored. And Josh Allen, he seemed to be acting like, we need to be back up 10 now.
Yeah. And I don't know. He just seems like he's forcing it.
Yeah.
Well, he's not comfortable. Not the way he was early in the season.
He led the league in turnover-worthy plays, 29 for the season. He had 2 interceptions in that game, 3 fumbles, 2 that were recovered by the Bills. You forget that.
One for a touchdown.
Yeah. He also could have had more fumbles with the way he was holding that ball.
Oh, yeah.
It's like, Josh Allen, you're absolutely out of control. And I think maybe what they need to do is show him this tape. Maybe this tape will be the impetus for Josh Allen.
I hope so.
The wake up moment. You know, bring in Jim Kelly and say, hey, don't do this. You need to take the check down. You need to check down Andre Reed and Thurman Thomas and Don Beebe if they're not open.
Yeah.
Kenneth Davis at the 1-yard line because Thurman Thomas can't score a touchdown.
Just chew up some clock. Just run simple. I mean, you see how Tom Brady made his career. Yeah. It's all just these little dink and dunk, passes. Pick up some easy yardage when you need to, and take the shot when you're supposed to. But
especially if Skylar Thompson's on the other side, and this time it'll be Joe Burrow without an offensive line.
Yeah,
take what is given you. Allen doesn't have to win this game. He just has to not lose it.
Yeah, but he's, I say since December, after Thanksgiving, I've seen Josh Allen he's not playing good football. Mm-hmm. I mean, he's a great player.
Yeah.
He makes spectacular plays, but he's doing just as much wrong as he is doing right.
Yeah, I mean, I'll push back a little bit on that. I think he made like 7 of the 10 best throws of the weekend.
Okay, yeah.
Okay, so I mean, the good is like equaling, if not negating, but there's still like it's not needed.
To me, I'm a basketball coach, so my guy's hitting a bunch of threes, but he comes down on defense and keeps giving up threes, not closing the guy out. Mm-hmm. So we're just trading buckets.
Yeah.
You're making great plays, but you're not doing the part that we need you to actually do to build our lead.
And I think that is a concern at this point. divisional round, title game, Super Bowl. We are now at that point where we can that's why we go down to 7-man rotations in the NBA playoffs, right?
Exactly.
You can't do that anymore.
Yeah.
I just believe that Josh Allen can turn this around. The duality of man, as it were. Josh Allen. What does that mean?
I don't know. But it made sense.
Somehow.
Yeah.
I just think Josh Allen can change by seeing this, but he has to do it within himself.
He does.
The duality of man.
He's got so much pressure on him. He really does, because he doesn't really have a run game. Mm-hmm. At least I haven't seen it in December. Like, what happened to Singletary? Like, let's give the ball to Cook a few more times.
Gosh,
you know,
late November, that game against the Lions, when Allen was at his most pain in that elbow, they started running the ball. The Bills did,
and it looked good.
And maybe anyone can run against the Lions, and that's the explanation. But
yeah, maybe.
But they had a couple games there and they got 3 backs.
Yeah,
James Cook is playing great.
I think James Cook's better than Singletary.
Yeah, I do too. And I don't think Singletary's that bad.
No.
How's their offensive line? Their offensive line, I think, is fine, right?
It's healthy. Yeah, it's fine. Yeah.
Never elite, but they're there.
It's really just Josh Allen trying to make too much happen. Mm-hmm. And if he just stays within himself and within the team, they're fine. But the whole season has been kind of him trying to be the MVP. Mm-hmm. And he's just got to Mahomes this. Just be patient, use the weapons you have, take the shots that you want, more pre-snap read, I'm picking this guy, I'm throwing it to him, It's MVS's turn, it's Juju's turn, to do the same thing, it's Gabe Davis's turn, it's Diggs' turn, which it's a lot of times it's Diggs' turn.
As it should be.
But, get Beasley involved, get Knox involved, get Cook and Singletary, just spread that ball around and take the pressure off of you. Put it on your weapons.
And the Bengals defense, I mean, they're the ones who made Pat Mahomes come to this realization.
Yeah.
They shut him down the second half of the AFC title game. You got to think they can do something great here. Lou Anarumo, the defensive coordinator. I always resist saying his last name because I can't say it.
Anarumo?
Anarumo.
I may just say it again.
Yeah, I know. Lou.
Big Lou.
Big Lou.
Big Lou.
Big Lou.
Yeah.
He makes adjustments. He is one of the elite minds, in my opinion. He's got a great group there. He could make a nightmare for Josh Allen. He just made a nightmare for Pat Mahomes. By the way, not just last year, but this year too. He did it to Pat Mahomes this year as well. Maybe not nightmare would be a little far, but he put some pressure restriction on him.
Yeah, he put enough pressure on him to actually make them think differently, and he does make great adjustments.
Yeah, gosh, this
Bengals D is good.
This game could be lower scoring than I think, because we haven't even talked about the Bengals problem.
The offensive line.
Yeah, exactly. Bills' problem is turnovers. Bengals' problem is offensive line. Lyle Collins is out for the season or with an ACL. Alex Kappa, their guard, out with an ankle malady. Ooh. Have you ever heard that on the injury report? An ankle malady.
I don't know. It sounds brutal, though.
I know. It sounds like the next thing is death by plague. So he died from a malady.
Yeah, like his ankle just is gone. What happened?
16th century documents show that Alex Kappa died of an ankle malady. And Jonah Williams, last year, their other tackle, or last week, dislocated his kneecap. It said Kappa and Williams might play next week, but both could not walk without assistance on Monday.
They ain't playing.
But Lord. I knew you would love that, though. The articles that come out sometimes.
I know. They're trying to make it seem like they're actually going to play.
I know.
That's just ridiculous. The dude can't walk and you think he's going to play a game in 5 days? No way in hell.
So 60% of the starting line is down. Which sucks because Collinsworth showed the graphic during the game that they played 15 games straight together.
Yeah.
Bengals would win the Super Bowl if those guys stayed healthy. I firmly believe that.
I agree with that.
Because you were big on the Bengals at about December, around Christmas.
Yeah, I'm Joe Burrow fan, huge time. I mean, when everybody always says Mahomes, Allen, and then Burrow, and I'm waiting for people to change that order when they say it.
Oh.
I'm waiting for somebody to say Burrow, Mahomes, Allen, and put him above them. Because he's there. But with the offensive line hurt, he has to play like he did last year. He's going to take 15 hits, 9 sacks in a game. Can they really overcome that?
I mean, it's good for them that Von Miller is not playing.
I know, right? They'd get absolutely destroyed.
The Bills still have some good pass rushers, though.
The Bills they're going to put the heat on them.
Yeah.
And to me, mostly when the offense line gets hurt, the thing I see the most is that they can't run the ball anymore. Mm-hmm. That's the biggest problem.
Yeah.
It's like Joe Mixon should be getting 5 yards of carry with a healthy line.
Yeah.
Now they don't have the line. Now they're not as used to the timing of pulling a guard or, trapping this way or waiting for the cutbacks this way. And Joe Mixon's going to have a tough game.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point and explains why it gets so bad. Because they can't run, so now the pass rushers can, not only do they have a weaker matchup, they have a more predictable play, which is the pass play.
They become one-dimensional.
Yeah, so it's kind of like double trouble there that adds up for Burrow. Burrow can do it, though. There was a touchdown drive he did without Jonah Williams. Yeah. I know we said he didn't get a first down in the fourth quarter against the Ravens, but also didn't need to. Fumble in the jungle kind of took up a lot of time.
It really did. It didn't have the ball very often.
Yeah. So, okay, well,
but honestly, who do you think has the better weapons offensively? Because it's close.
Well, my love of Stephon Diggs, so I'm going with the Bills
just because of Stephon. Jamar Chase is pretty damn good. Higgins.
I think, oh, God, yeah, T. Higgins and Chase, that's tough to stop. I think Diggs, okay, let me think. Gosh, that's a really tough question.
It's close.
Diggs is definitely over Chase. T. Higgins is so far over Gabe Davis,
Absolutely,
though.
Yeah.
Tyler Boyd is way over Dr. Cole Beasley.
And then you got Hurst and Knox.
Yeah, is Isaiah McKenzie playing for the Bills? I need to look that up.
I haven't heard a report on him. Yeah.
But then Josh Allen's legs... that
versus
brings
Burrows,
up another thing.
Yeah.
But I know that's not the question you asked. I'm just stalling for time. It might be a tie. If I'm forced to pick, I'm going to go with my gut, which is how much I love Stephon Diggs. I'm going to go Bills. But, man.
Yeah, see, I'd say Bengals. But,
yeah.
It is close. It's like a 52 to a 48 percentile. Like, that's right there, You're barely leaning one way.
There's so many great players in this game. This is we've just shit all over the Bengals and Bills, but there are so many great players in this game. It's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I think you said earlier it's not going to be a very high scoring game.
Right.
I kind of disagree with you on that.
Really?
I think this it's going to start a little slow, and then they're going to open it up. Okay. I think both these coaches are good at adapting to what they see, and as long as the Bengals can protect a little bit, I think they're going to start showing some cards. They got some aces up the sleeve where they're just like, okay, maybe Bills go up 10, Bengals like, we got to have this one, right? Yeah. Halfback pass like they did in the Super Bowl last year. There's cards they haven't shown yet that are about to be played out in this game.
I love it.
And this is the first time, it should have been in week 17, but this is the first time that hopefully, knock on wood, that they finish the game, Josh Allen versus Joe Burrow. Hasn't happened yet. So I'm waiting for, this is a huge game. I love it. This is a rivalry that's, this is the first one that's going to be like, okay, which team's got the edge? God, because they don't know each other very well.
This is a hard one to pick.
Really, it is.
Bills are favored by 4. That's probably pretty much just home field advantage there.
Pretty much.
Plus 1 or 2, maybe.
Plus a lineman for the Bengals.
Yeah, plus a lineman for the Bengals. So it's pretty dang close. To me, on paper, the Bills are clearly going to win. But the off-paper thing is we got Mr. Cool, Joe Burrow, and we have Mr. Losing His Head, Josh Allen.
I know.
And it's just like, it just keeps going around in circles for me. I don't know what to do. I should have wrote it down before the podcast.
I know. This is one I'm probably going to flip my head on every day until the game actually happens.
Yeah.
All the way until game time, all the way through the first half, probably into the fourth quarter. I'll be like, I don't know who the hell's going to win this game, but I think it's this team. Nah, never mind. I think it's this team. To me, I like the Bengals better, but because of the linemen, I got to give the Bills the advantage.
Okay.
It's at home. And I don't know. Burrow's had the protection this year. I don't think he's ready to regress back to getting hit all the time. And, the Bills just seem like a team of destiny. So I have a hard time picking against them at home with that crowd. And I think I'm just going to go with the Bills for now, even though I would rather Joe Burrow wins the game. I think the Bills will squeak it out somehow.
I'm just going to cover us and go Bengals. And I guess everything that I said about Josh Allen made it seem like the Bills they should be winning the game.
Yeah.
And why was it so bad? I think at the end of this game, Josh Allen is going to fumble or intercept. I still think it's going to be a lower scoring game because I think both defenses are going to be surprisingly good, and Josh Allen's going to make the mistakes and Joe Burrow isn't.
Okay.
And I think that's what's going to happen. I think we're going to look back and be like, yeah, Josh Allen showed us what was going to happen in Miami.
Okay.
We saw it.
Yeah.
So I'll go with that. I'm like you, though. I'm probably going to switch my mind on that a couple times.
I know. You saying that, I'm like, I'm going back to the Bengals. And then I'm like...
And now you saying that makes me want to go back to the
Bills. You might as well flip a coin. If you're betting on this game, flip a coin and just go with it.
I forgot to get my joke off about bringing in Jim Kelly as a quarterback consultant for Josh Allen, but only for the next 2 games. Because when it gets to the Super Bowl, they need to pay another consultant. Joe Montana, for example.
Exactly.
Sorry, Jim, you're fired. Yeah. You understand, right?
He's like, I get it.
He's like, I get it.
Yeah.
I'm 0-4.
Yeah. Which would make perfect sense. I agree with that 100%.
Oh, man.
But yeah, this AFC is awesome. We've all known this all year. We've been waiting for this divisional round matchups, and there's so much talent on quarterback in the AFC, and we're right there. We got 4 fantastic quarterbacks.
Yes.
Mahomes, Lawrence, Allen, and Burrow. Boom, let's go get it.
And we're finally, like me and you, we had to go through 2 decades of Peyton, Big Ben, and Brady. Yep. And maybe, another team came in and out. But
every Super Bowl, from like 2003 until until Brady left the Patriots. Yeah. It was Bengals. I mean, it was Patriots, Colts, and Steelers. Besides that 1 year with Joe Flacco. Well, that was it.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, that's crazy.
That's 2 decades of 3 quarterbacks representing the AFC every single time.
It's nice to get some fresh blood. Of course, cut to us in 2030 being like, God, it's always Mahomes, Allen, and Burrow, and Lawrence.
Yeah, I'm so sick of this.
All right, well, that is the AFC. Enjoy the weekend. Just take a moment and be like, I'm watching Mahomes and Allen in their prime. I'm watching Burrow and Lawrence. Lawrence maybe not in his prime yet, but just enjoy it. Yeah. That's my request to you, dear listener.
Please do it.
All right, my name's Miles.
I'm Kirk.
That's Obi-Wan. We'll be back for the NFC.